What is happening, Internet? Welcome back to the Nightwing 01 channel, and tonight we are going to be talking about the brand new Justice League Dark Apokolipse movie, and since this is essentially a Justice League thing, I figured why not do some Injustice, but basically we had some issues getting Injustice working, but it seems to be doing okay now. It doesn't really matter who I play against. Oh, we'll do Darkseid, why not?
Darkseid.
I haven't played this game in so many years. This is going to be interesting. So, Justice League Dark Apokolipse. Where do I begin? Just so you know, this will be very spoiler heavy. It is the finale of the same verse, or the New 52 verse, the stale animation that we've had for 11 years. And it hasn't been 11 years, 7 years, 8 years, I don't know. Seems like it's been forever. But, do we have Apokolipse in this? No. That would have been cool. Wait, I thought we did. No, we have Brainiac ship. Nah,
Fighters approaching Brainiac.
that would have been one thing. Did I hate the movie? No, I mean, it was pretty cool to see what happened to a lot of the characters I can't stand. Not gonna lie, that was interesting.
Arrive soon. Think I haven't planned for this.
Oh gosh, this is gonna be bad.
Plans are of no use to a
This is gonna be very bad.
begin.
So, for the most part, the movie is told, like, as a flashback to what happened, but it is probably the most gory thing I've seen for a DC property in a long time. Like, I was honestly surprised the amount of stuff they did. Think, like, taking Zack Snyder's Justice League idea and flashpointing it. And I'm talking about, like, the Flashpoint animated movie, the one that set up the whole Justice League War universe, you know? That type of thing. And guys, just so you know, the gameplay is not going to be very good for this. I haven't played Injustice 2 in a long time. It's going to take me quite a while to remember how to ride this bicycle. I can't even tell you how many years it's been, to be honest. Long time.
Batman wins.
One round wins? I don't remember how this works. Let's keep fighting Darkseid because that's the point. Yeah, this movie is mostly told in flashbacks. It's kind of crazy. It sets up 2 years after this massive attack on Darkseid. Again, lots of spoilers, so please no spoilers. If you haven't seen the movie, get out of here. Come back later, because I'm going to pretty much tell you everything. So, okay, so anyway. The entire movie is told via flashback, mostly. It also has like a 2-year later narrative about the aftermath of attacking Darkseid. So Superman had this brilliant idea that he was going to send his minimal-sized Justice League. Like, the New 52 Justice League is not the size of, like, the DC animated universe. Like the Timverse or Diniverse or whatever you want to call it. It's not that big. They got Martian Manhunter a couple years ago. John Stewart's there. They have some Justice League Dark members. They're like, basically like Justice League Reserve members. There's really nothing, right? So, 3 Javelins, thinking maybe like 20 heroes in total, go to attack Darkseid, right? Not a good idea. Unbeknown to the Justice Leaguers who are planning this war on Darkseid, Darkseid, I'm just gonna lay it out for you. He's kind of minding his own business. He's not really messing with them, right? He comes into their space, and maybe eventually he plans on coming to attack them, but he's watching them. In fact, Cyborg, unbeknown to him, is a minion of Darkseid, because the Mother Box, or Father Box technology, whatever you want to call it, is linked into Cyborg's brain. So Darkseid is basically watching the Justice League forged their little plan of attack. He knows everything. And because they knew the weaknesses of the parademons, he's like, alright, okay. You want to go that route? Cool, cool. Meet my Doomsday parademons. Essentially Superman's DNA mixed with parademons. And you can guess the end result was not good. Pretty much the entire Justice League gets permadeath. Like, out of the 25 or 30 heroes that arrive on Darkseid's planet, 6 of them survive intact with, like, you know, their bodies not mutilated. Think like DC Future's End type thing. And the rest of them are turned into, like, cyborg, skeletal, hideous creatures. Like, they all get wrecked hard. They're just dead. You know? And the ones that Darkseid allows to live, he screws with. Like, I mean, he just straight up tortures them. And then, after the Justice League falls, it doesn't take long for Darkseid to be like, alright, you made your move, so I'm gonna send the Doom Parademons, or whatever they're called, Doom Demons, to Earth, and he kills all the Titans. Like, literally, they're dead. Everybody was upset that Nightwing had his arm broken a couple years ago in that awesome fight with Deathstroke. Nightwing gets killed, like, within seconds. His voice actor doesn't even really return except to do a couple grunts and maybe say Titans together or something. I don't know. Starfire is, like, littered on the ground, like, ripped in half. You can see her guts everywhere. Wallace, the Kid Flash is dead. Everybody's dead. Beast Boy, only survivors of the Titans Tower incident is Raven and Robin, and the only reason Robin is alive is because I guess Darkseid thinks Damian fell in the water and drowned. So Nightwing dies saving Damian. You can kind of think of it like an Injustice thing. It was animated pretty good, I guess, but I'm not going to lie, I didn't like seeing Nightwing die. But then when I realized that literally everyone and their mom was going to die in this movie, like everyone dies. Except for 6 people, I think. Technically. Like, 6 heroes survive intact. 4 or 5 heroes end up getting the RoboCop treatment by Darkseid. So they're all really horribly disfigured and messed up. And it's really shocking when you see them again, because Darkseid doesn't mess around. But all of this could be avoided if Superman didn't have this brilliant idea to go attack Darkseid. It's his fault. Superman was stupid. Everything that happened is Superman's fault. And Cyborg, but Cyborg didn't know. Cyborg had no idea that was going to happen. Like, at all. So, I mean, you can't really blame Cyborg for it. Batman's role in this movie, he is in the Mobius chair. So if you know what that is, it's kind of a big deal. He becomes Darkseid's number 2 guy. Because most of Darkseid's guys are gone. I believe Calabac was killed in a previous movie. Granny Goodness, you don't really see her. You don't see the fairies or the Furies, whatever they're called. I don't remember. You have a new version of them, which are semi-dead Justice Leaguers. But, I mean, if you have a favorite character in this movie, they die horrible ways. Aquaman gets ripped in half. You don't even see what happens to Hal Jordan. Hal Jordan just dies. Barry Allen gets stuck on a cosmic treadmill forever for like 2 years, and he's like, he kind of looks like how he did in Crisis on Infinite Earths, where he's like this kind of like skeletal version of himself, because Darkseid's planet has not been in the best shape after one of the Justice League movies, where the Justice League kind of like did some stuff to Apokolips. So in order to keep his planet running smoothly, he forces Barry to become his new generator, which is pretty sinister. I mean, this is the Darkseid that wrecks everybody. If you've, like... I can't even explain how powerful Darkseid is. Like, Darkseid is just, like... probably the most powerful I've seen him since the comics. And Superman is insanely powerful now, but it doesn't really matter because he loses. Because essentially, these Doomsday Parademons, they're Parademons mixed with Doomsday's DNA. Like, they just wreck everybody. And then they go to Earth and they just take everybody out. So the movie, pretty much, it's kind of told from the point of view of a couple characters. Constantine, Batman, Raven, and Superman. And Superman is messed up forever. Superman ends up... he's one of the 6 people that survives the battle, and the only reason Darkseid doesn't kill him is because he uses Superman's defeat and depowerment as a way to cripple the morale of Earth. So he sends Superman back to Earth with, like, this kind of like kryptonite liquid cancer inside of his body, which is slowly killing him, but it like turned him mortal. So when you see Superman for most of the movie, he has like green eyes, and he's got like, his skin is kind of glowing green a little bit because Darkseid really messed him up. And then let him return to Earth so that the Earthlings would realize, we're screwed. It's over. You know? That was pretty hardcore. It kind of reminded me of when Superman went crazy in Superman the Animated Series. That's kind of what that's like. A little bit.
There's no peace in revenge.
Ow. But, Superman, nobody really likes him because it's his fault that all the heroes are dead. You could be like, well, I mean, he didn't know that Cyborg was a plant. It's like, even Batman didn't know Cyborg was a plant. Doesn't matter. It was Superman and Wonder Woman's brilliant idea to go and attack Darkseid. When Darkseid, other than just hanging out in our universe, he wasn't really attacking Earth yet. That was probably years and years away.
I never quit.
And maybe by that point, Batman would have figured out that Darkseid was actually, you know, watching everybody. But nope, they go guns a-blazing and they get half the Justice League killed so quickly. Like, I was surprised. I was thinking, oh my gosh, the Justice League, you know, you see them all, like, prepping for war. Like, Justice League Dark, Justice League Titans. There's probably, like, I don't know, 20 Leaguers, 13 Titans, and 3 or 4 Justice League Dark members. They just all die. Like, so quick. Shazam gets his arm, or, sorry, his leg ripped off like it's nothing. You know? He's just... like, one of those Paradoom things just grabs him and, like, pulls off his leg like he's a straw man. It's incredibly violent and gory and stuff. It's like, whoa. I was not expecting that. I mean, I heard that it got, like, an R rating for a reason, but I was like, dang, that's kind of crazy. I was like, whoa. You know? Do Batman versus Batman because he kind of looks how he does in Darkseid. So, Darkseid reprograms Batman, sticks him on the Mobius chair, and the Mobius chair is kind of like God Batman. He knows everything, and he's following Darkseid's will because of the reprogramming. So his eyes are glowing red all the time. Instead of when he's normal, his eyes are white. When he is possessed or whatever, his eyes are red. Okay, maybe hard mode was not a good idea. I thought I could do it. Still gonna try. There we go. Trying to remember a little bit. Ow, never mind. Oh, that's how I throw a batarang. Yeah, so it was kind of crazy. Like, I was not expecting that. I was like, whoa, it's intense. I actually talked to a friend of mine before I even watched the movie because I was like, I don't want to watch this if Nightwing dies. I just have this gut feeling that Nightwing's going to die because one of the people involved in the movie says they hate Nightwing. It's kind of like a Dan Didio thing. They don't like Nightwing, and every time Nightwing is in their movies, aside from the Judas Contract, was actually a very good, I would say, showcase of what Nightwing can do and stuff like that. Even though this Nightwing is incredibly nerfed in this universe. It's just, yeah, they kill Nightwing so quick, and it's like, it's heartbreaking to see the Titans like lying there all dead, you know? It's like, whoa. Yeah, I gotta switch back to normal, fam. I can't do it. This is bad. At least we get to see the super. So let's do the 2-year time skip. So you know everybody's dead now. 2 years later, Batman is a minion of Darkseid. Lex Luthor is a minion of Darkseid. Earth is being slowly destroyed. Drained of its resources. It's in bad shape. Raven is semi-adopted by Lois and Clark. Superman is kind of like in charge of the Resistance, even though he's not. He can't do anything. He grows this really cool beard, though. More or less. Ah, darn. Yeah, I can't play this on hard or I'm not going to be able to talk. That's going to be a problem. Because I got to be able to tell you guys stuff, so. Whoops, I want to be Justice League Batman, and... It doesn't matter which Batman. Evil Batman. That works. Medium's fine, yeah. I'll go back to Gotham. Lois Lane is kind of like no longer a reporter either. She's basically like a military person again. Suicide Squad has a big role in the movie, believe it or not. Everything is tied together from all the movies that you've seen.
Under the mask we're the same. Begin.
Which is cool. Maybe just Batman in general that's just gonna kick my butt. That could be. Ooh. Yeah, that's not good. What is going on with me? I just can't beat my own Batman guy. Ow. I gotta talk and I can't. Why? This was a bad idea. I should have just played Arkham. He's gonna block it. Yep. Ow. Maybe I can't play against Batman. That could be it. So where was I? Oh yeah, Lois is in charge of military or whatever. She has a really cool role in the movie. I liked her. I really liked her in the Death of Superman movie too, which was really good. There's a couple good New 52 movies. The Flashpoint movie's good. Justice League War is okay. Son of Batman's eh. Batman Bad Blood is terrible. Although Batwoman gets her Batwoman dies pretty badly in this one. I have to admit I enjoyed that. Did not enjoy seeing Batgirl die though. That kind of like I was like, no, not Babs.
You'll regret this.
You see her arms go flying and her body's being devoured by these doomsday creatures. It's like, no, not Babs. Luke Fox, his death isn't really... I don't know if he's dead or not, but... I mean, the ending of the movie is pretty much everybody's dead. So it doesn't matter if people survive. They all die anyway, which I'll explain later. But yeah, Babs died. Batwoman died kind of funny. So I was like, yay. I kind of cheered. I was like, yes, finally! The witch is dead! But then seeing Batgirl die like shortly after that, I was like, no! Why? Cruel fates!
Batman wins.
Oh my gosh. Luke Fox has a lame death. Hal Jordan's death is lame. Mara's death is gross. Like, Doomsday Dude is like ripping her face off. It was like, holy cow, this is insane R rating, yo. Like, what? What? Oh no, I didn't want to rematch. Shoot. Did not want to do that. It was a bad idea. Oh, I throw stuff again? Oh, there we go. Oh, I think I know why I'm getting my butt kicked. He's one of my costumes, isn't he? He has more health than I do. I think that's part of it. Ow. Yeah, that's what's going down. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not very good at this game, but I think he has way more health than I do. That's fine. Oh no! Okay, fine. So aside from the character deaths, the ones that they don't mention, it's implied they're dead. Damian was actually... I liked him in this movie. I liked him in some of the Titans movies. He kind of reminded me of Tim Drake a little bit. He wasn't... I mean, he's still Damian, don't get me wrong, but he's had a lot of character growth over... the last several movies, and Raven and Damian are a thing in this universe, which I don't know if that's going to happen in the Titans live action show now because people are being very receptive to it. Like, they are totally fine with it.
I know you can do better.
But, I mean, I didn't dislike it. It made sense. Raven and Damian both go through, like, some of the most horrific stuff in the movie. Raven especially is dying because she is... Which, I liked it. It made sense. It was kind of like, oh, there was actually a penalty for Trigon being stuck inside of Raven. He's killing her so he can get out. That makes sense. That was well done. The Titans storyline is continued very well in this movie. The Justice League stuff felt incredibly rushed. It was kind of like they just want to have the Justice League in there to be like, hey, remember these characters? Oh, yeah, after 5 minutes, they're all dead horribly. It's just gone. No more. Although John Stewart has the coolest death in the movie. He's fighting Darkseid, and he's on Oa, and he's like the last Lantern alive. And he's doing the oath, like, on the power battery, so he would become, like, this ultimate Lantern, right? And Darkseid is basically done with Oa, and he's like, Batman, I need you to send some molten lava to Oa. And right as John is about ready to become, like, this souped-up Lantern, like, the fires of Apocalypse come onto Oa and burn him to a crisp. And, like, he dies instantly, and he's there as his skeleton, and then his skeleton blows away. It was like, wow. I mean, that was a hardcore death. I wish we'd have seen more John Stewart in the New 52 verse, because I feel like he didn't really get a fair shot at all. But I felt like his death was, like, one of the more memorable ones in the movie. So I feel like they handled that pretty well. But I mean, I didn't really like how so many characters died. It was pretty unnerving. Not gonna lie. But the characters that I wanted to die, they survived. So I mean, I got to see Batwoman die. I got to see some of the New 52 characters I couldn't stand die. I liked Martian Manhunter, so I'm glad he lived, kind of. But yeah, I did not like what happened to Cyborg either. That was sad. Cyborg's death was very emotional. And what's funny is, when I was talking about how Zack Snyder is connected to this in a way, if you look at the movie that's being basically called Flashpoint 2, they took a lot of ideas from Zack Snyder's Justice League 1 and 2 and basically incorporated that into this. So it's definitely the end of the movie, and it borrows a lot of ideas of what people were going to do with the Justice League movie, where a lot of characters were going to be killed fighting Darkseid. So it was going to be very dark. It was going to be very sad, although Batman was going to be the death in the Justice League movie that was going to basically be what happened to Cyborg. Cyborg ends up killing... No, he doesn't really kill Darkseid. He puts Darkseid at the edge of the universe where he can never come back at the cost of his life, because... Mostly for revenge, what Darkseid did to the Justice League and the Titans, but also what he does to Cyborg is just horrible. Cyborg becomes a part of the Source Wall in Apocalypse, and he's stuck there. He can never get out. He's just there. He can watch everything that happens, and once his mind is freed by... I don't remember who helps him. I think it's Constantine. You know, Cyborg does everything in his power to help the League and save the remainder of his friends at the cost of his own life. So, I mean, that was sad. I teared up a little bit. I was like, no, not Cyborg. So Cyborg is another casualty. 15 Leaguers die, both at the beginning, or in flashbacks, and in the regular movie. So, in the regular movie, the 2 year later time skip thing, Lois Lane and the Resistance want to get up to Apocalypse so they can drive Darkseid away forever. And they have a man on the inside, which you think most of the movie is Batman. You think Batman has broken his reprogramming from Darkseid, and he's giving the remaining heroes on Earth an advantage. And it turns out that the mole is not Batman. It's somebody that you'll never expect. And I'm not going to tell you who it is, but That was a surprise. I didn't see that coming. I thought Batman had like a dual personality thing where, yes, he was under the control of Darkseid, but there was another aspect of his personality that was helping out the rebellion. No. Batman is fully under Darkseid's control, and he does some horrible atrocities in the movie. And, you know, you really get to see evil Batman in this movie. Like, hardcore evil. You think Injustice Superman is bad. Like, Batman is responsible for killing half the Earth. Like, that's crazy. And they talk about it, like, so... nonchalant. Like, all the things that Batman did. You know? The 2 year later thing, like, Earth is completely destroyed. There's really nothing left of the Earth. You have, like, out of the billions of people that were on the Earth, you have, like, maybe 1 billion people left. If that. The Earth has totally been destroyed. London is gone. New York is gone. Everything is gone. It's just like Future's End type thing. Like, there's some cities that are left, but they're... The best way to explain it is think about what they did with Harley Quinn in the second season of her show and what happened to Gotham, and now picture that as every city on Earth, and that is the cost of going to war with Darkseid. Like, the Earth is just jacked. And Constantine had a lot of stuff happen to him in the movie, too. And this is only like an hour-and-a-half movie. I mean, it's not even that long a movie. So, for what they did in the movie, I think they did a good job. I would place this right around the same score that I gave Flashpoint. Like, it's definitely Flashpoint Part 2. If you really liked Flashpoint, you'll like this movie. If you didn't like the New 52 stuff, then you'll love seeing the characters die horribly. If you're, like, you know, kind of evil. Because they don't pull their punches with these character deaths. But I'm going to tell you, they happen so quick. And some of them are just, like, lying on the ground. Like, in pieces and stuff like that. So you don't really get to see them die. You only get to see a couple die on screen. Batwoman, Batgirl, Luke Fox, pretty much all Batman INC. The Titans you see all die on screen, that was tough. That was hard to see. And then you see all the Suicide Squad die. And it made sense how they died, though. That made sense. And you see a lot of Green Lanterns die, too. There's actually probably more Green Lantern deaths on Oa fighting Darkseid than when the Justice League arrived on Earth, or Apokolips to attack. That's how quickly it happens, though. I mean, the entire fight with all the Lanterns on Oa versus Darkseid lasts like maybe a minute. He kills all the Guardians. He kills every single Green Lantern. Kilowog. Everybody. John is the last one to die. Hal Jordan died 2 years ago. So if people are always like, oh, Darkseid's not that strong, watch this movie, and then you see the stuff that Darkseid is capable of. Robin. I was surprised. He's pretty tough. Let's go with Wonder Woman. That's fine. The Superman element of the movie is supposed to be like the human element. He is more relatable now. I liked him. I don't normally like the New 52 Superman, but I liked him in this movie because he's had a lot of growth since the whole Death of Superman thing. He and Lois were really fun characters. I like them. Their love story is both cute and very tragic. But it's because of Lois's death that Superman's able to get his powers back, which... I mean, I guess it makes sense. I mean, he was so filled with grief, and there were some other things going on when he was fighting Darkseid that he got his powers back. But it was just kind of like, oh, wow, that's kind of sad, you know? So anyway, how the heroes end up on Apokolips again to get rid of Darkseid is the Resistance, which is led by the Kents. They find Constantine in merry old England, what's left of it, and they tell him that they need him to do a locator spell to find Damian Wayne, who is now Ra's al Ghul, essentially, which makes sense. I mean, Damian, the Titans are no more, Gotham is no more, Batman's no more, so he wouldn't really need to carry on the legacy of the Bat, so he went back to Ra's al Ghul, or, you know, whoever was, even though Ra's isn't in this movie. The Lazarus Pits are in the movie. So you find out the reason why Robin goes back to be the head of the League of Shadows is because he needed to in order to use the Lazarus Pit. And you can probably guess who he used the Lazarus Pit on. Nightwing. But maybe because Damian didn't know how to use the pits, or they don't really say, but instead of temporary insanity, Nightwing is not really Nightwing anymore. He is, 2 years later, kind of like a screaming zombie. So, as a Nightwing fan, that hurt, because it's almost like maybe he would have been better off dead like the rest of the heroes, because he's just, all the scenes you see of Nightwing, he's in a straitjacket drooling. And that is just a big slap in the face to Nightwing fans. Like, that was painful. He's alive, yes. But is he really alive? I feel like they weren't really borrowing very well from the comics, because when you are dead and you come back, you're not supposed to be driven that insane. When you're mostly dead, somewhat alive, and you use the pit, and you're brought back, it can cause permanent insanity. But if you're already dead, and the pit brings you back, it's only supposed to be temporary insanity. So I feel like they were saying Nightwing wasn't dead, when you can clearly see, when he gets killed by the Doom thing, he gets impaled through the chest. Like, there's nothing left of Nightwing's chest when he dies. So he was dead when Damian put him into a Lazarus Pit. So there's no reason that he would come back completely insane. But because he becomes like that, Damian stays with his brother, becomes the head of the League of Assassins, and watches over his brother. He takes care of him. It's very sad. But it made me like Damian's character a little bit more, because it was like, he really loved his brother. But he's kind of messed up. So yeah, that's what happened to poor old Nightwing in the movie. All the Titans stay permadead except for a couple. At first I thought that something was going to happen involving like the movie being continued, like with the Flash going to another universe to get help to fight Darkseid, but nah, the Flash leaves and he creates another Flashpoint. So regardless of what happens in the movie, everyone dies anyway. I guess it's a painless death, but Constantine gets Flash to set up another Flashpoint at the end, which is going to lead into probably DC Rebirth or something else. I don't know.
Aquaman.
The world as you know it is over. So they go through all of that, and then Barry kills everyone again. You know? That is so messed up. Because Barry has been living with this guilt of Flashpoint that when he ran back in time to save his mom, he killed all his friends in the original universe. Run, Barry, run! Yep. So Barry kills more people than Darkseid. But they make it look happy, though. They're like, Constantine is like, you know what? You need to go back, Barry. Some things that you do, they're not quite going to be the same, but it's going to be better than this. Better than RoboCop, Cyborg, Justice League. And Barry's just like, you know what? I think this is going to be better for my friends. So I'm just going to murder all my friends by running as fast as I can. And the last scene that you see of the movie is everybody, all the survivors, which there's like maybe 7 or 8, they're looking at the sunset, and then the world just turns into like this big yellow thing as Barry resets the universe by going back in time. So they all die anyway. Alfred died 2 years ago. supposedly there's some deleted scenes where Alfred died after hearing that Dick was killed or something, like he had a heart attack or something, or where he thought Bruce was killed by Darkseid. Batman went crazy on Apokolips when he found out that Nightwing died, but they don't really show you what he did. He just, you know, goes a little crazy. But anyway, the only reason that Constantine was alive during this whole debacle is because he ran away. So, he was new to the Justice League, along with Zatanna. They were part of Justice League Dark, Batman's team. And they get added to the Justice League for this, basically, ops mission of attacking Darkseid. On Apokolips, they're teamed up together, and these Doom Demons apparently scare the crap out of Constantine, and he literally watches Zatanna being eaten alive and torn to shreds by these Doomsday creatures. And then he uses, like, his magic. He says, "I'm sorry" to her as she's being torn limb from limb, and he disappears. And then 2 years later, the movie picks up with him in a bar somewhere in England, drinking. I did like Constantine in the movie. I thought, like, his point of view was awesome, but you never find out why he ran away. It's never really explained, because he even says, "I've dealt with some pretty tough blokes," and he says, "I ran away. I could have probably easily killed those Doomsday creatures, but for whatever reason, I ran away." And they never tell you why. That's a loophole of the movie. Never explained. You know, and it kind of cheapened his character a little bit, you know? It's like, okay, well, I mean, that's what happened to him. He ran away. Okay. I mean, if he hadn't run away, then there would be no redemption arc for him, I guess. And his redemption arc was really cool. I'm a big fan of Constantine after seeing some of the stuff on the Arrowverse with him when he had his TV show. And I like the fact that it's the same guy voicing Constantine for the past, I don't know, quite a while. Maybe a decade, something like that. But anyway, jumping around a little bit because this is not really a, it's kind of like a review, but it's more like my thoughts and telling you the spoilers and stuff. So, the reason why they're searching for Damian is because they believe he's the key to getting to Batman. He isn't. Nightwing is the key. Maybe if Damian showed up in a Nightwing costume, that could have probably triggered something in Batman's memory, but lo and behold, Damian being around doesn't really help the whole Batman situation. It kind of does, but it's mostly because Damian died, and that kind of snapped Batman out of his Darkseid trance. And his fight with Darkseid is really cool, but it's incredibly short. But it was awesome to see that Batman's not afraid of Darkseid, even after everything that happened to him. But, yeah, Damian has a huge role in the movie. He's likable. He's not annoying. Etrigan, okay, here's the weird thing. Etrigan is back, and he died in Justice League Dark, and they don't explain how he's back. Like, he had this really cool arc in Justice League Dark, but he died in it. In this movie, he's back like there's no problem. They never explain how he returns. He just is kind of Constantine's drinking buddy. And let me tell you, like, Etrigan is awesome in the movie, but there's kind of a continuity error because I've seen all the terrible New 52 movies. And Etrigan was never brought back, to my knowledge. Unless I missed a Justice League Dark movie. I don't think I did, though. Just kind of like how a bunch of Justice League members were added to one of the Superman movies where they're just kind of there and they're a part of the team now and they don't explain it. Like, Young Justice did a better job of explaining new Justice League members than the New 52 universe. Like, they did a terrible job. They just picked characters that they wanted for, you know, adapting a certain storyline. Because the only reason they brought in Martian Manhunter is because Martian Manhunter was originally supposed to be part of this massive Justice League war between Justice League Dark, and Amanda Waller's Justice League, and they never adapted that. It never happened. So they just kind of brought John Jones into it because he's a popular Justice Leaguer, and they were like, we want him in the movie. So he's been in like the last 3 movies as a cameo. But yeah, it was weird to have Etrigan in the movie, but Etrigan is awesome in the movie, so I'm just kind of like, okay, they brought him back. I guess you'll never know why. There you go. Constantine must have done it because he was lonely. I don't know. They don't tell you. Jason Blood is dead, though, so the fact that Etrigan is around without Jason doesn't make sense. The demon Etrigan was connected to Jason. He didn't become his own separate person when Jason died. You know? But, whatevs. It's okay. Let's see, what else was interesting? The Suicide Squad, they were probably one of my favorite parts of the movie, along with, I really liked Lex Luthor in this movie, because he started as a Justice Leaguer, survived the war against Darkseid, or rather the skirmish. I wouldn't really call it a war. It's like the Battle of Apocalypse. He's one of the survivors. And he's the comedic aspect of the movie. He's really funny. He's a great part of the Suicide Squad, too. His death is not something you see. And it's not even... how the Suicide Squad dies is they're surrounded by all the Doomsday creatures. And eventually they just show Lex lying there. You see Bane dead. You see Bane die. Bane dies pretty grotesque. You see a bunch of the League of Shadows die. So I don't understand why they didn't show Lex die. Maybe there's going to be an extended cut or something like that, because it looked like it took a while to kill him because he had like all these like broken off pieces of Doomsday in his body. So I mean, it wasn't just like they stabbed him once. I mean, they really did a number on Lex. But you don't see it happen. So I feel like there was a lot of stuff that was cut out. Batman actually goes and kills all of his rogues, which they tell you. Catwoman, I don't know if she's dead or alive, but half of the world is dead anyway. So even if she was in hiding or she was in Gotham, Batman killed everybody. Just about everybody on Earth. So you never hear about her again. This movie takes place after Batman Hush, but they're just all dead. Batman personally killed Joker. He killed all his rogues, every one of them, except for a couple members that ended up in Harley Quinn's Suicide Squad. So Bane was alive. Harley. I thought I saw, like, Tweedledee and Tweedledum, or maybe, like, some C-listers, but everybody else is dead. And Batman did it, using the Mobius chair. Which would have been awesome to see. What they should have done before releasing Justice League Apocalypse, they needed to do a movie where Batman went crazy in the Mobius chair. That needed to be a film in itself to build up to Justice League Apocalypse. Because there's so much missing from this movie that could be its own movie. Like, while they're working on a DC Rebirth film, they could go back and they could show you Evil Batman. You know? But yeah, literally, everyone's dead. They're just gone. So, I think they did that so people wouldn't complain about them killing fan favorites like Nightwing and Shazam and all this other stuff. They're just like, you know what? Everybody's gonna die. This is how we are going to end the universe. Just kill everybody. They're gone. Poof, no more. Starfire you never get to see fight in her normal thing. Nope, we can't have Batman versus Starfire. That would be bad. Could have Starfire versus Darkseid, though. That'd be interesting. Out of all the Titans that survive in the movie, it is technically Grayson, Starfire, Raven, and Damian. Everybody else is dead. Starfire is half robot, half Starfire. Grayson is a drooling zombie. Damian is unscathed, and Raven is kind of unscathed, but her father is slowly killing her. Everybody else is dead. The remainder Titans get killed in the third arc of the movie, so they get killed in the present. Everybody that died in Titan's Tower was, like, characters that you've never actually seen appear as, like, voice-acted roles. So Wonder Girl was in it. She was dead. Kid Flash was in it. He was dead. Bumblebee was dead. Later you see Connor die, and a couple other Titan members who mount an assault on... You know those harvesters that Darkseid has? So the third arc of the movie is Darkseid is fed up with Earth. He wants to leave, go somewhere else. And he wants to drain Earth of its resources like Brainiac. So he sends the harvesters to Earth, and the heroes have, like, I don't know how many days. I think they have, like, 24 hours to destroy the harvesters. So the remainder Titans and the 4 or 5, we'll say, like, 4 members of the Justice League that are still on Earth that are, like, disfigured. They mount an invasion. Batman Incorporated, everybody in Batman Incorporated dies, taking out 2 of the towers. And Constantine riles up Swamp Thing to attack one of the... what do you call it? One of the harvesters on his own. Now, I don't know if Swamp Thing dies or not, because he's not shown later. I think he died, but he literally took on probably thousands of Doomsdays by himself, destroyed one of the harvesters, and the other heroes, to my knowledge, they did not destroy the harvesters. I believe they all failed. Batman Incorporated failed, the Justice League Reserves failed, and the Titans working with the Justice League failed. All those guys get killed. Everybody that goes after a harvester dies. The Suicide Squad that went into Lex's tower, they all die. So Lois sends Superman, like, the signal after they get them onto Apokolips, and she says her goodbyes, but Superman isn't Superman anymore, which I'll get to. I can explain. So the Lois and Clark element really will play with your heartstrings. It's very sad, but I feel like it was handled well. Originally, I thought the romance was really rushed quite a bit. If you saw some of the other Superman Justice League movies where he was dating Wonder Woman, because they were doing the New 52 thing. So they wanted to, when their sales were doing abysmal for their movies, they wanted to go back and do, like, pre-52 stories for Superman. So that's why they did The Death of Superman, and they did some other stuff. Is because they were trying to appeal to the better Superman stories, and they kind of, like, mixed Superman. Because they did The Death of Superman years ago, but it wasn't that good. Green Arrow wasn't in the movie. Dr. Fate was dead. Everybody was dead. And Doomsday. That works. Or, Darkseid. But let's talk about Raven a little bit. Raven, I like her. The actress is actually a fan of the original Teen Titans show from the 90s. Or, sorry, the 2000s. She really, really liked the Titans original Raven. That was kind of her inspiration for this character. Even though she kind of looks sickly and gross most of the movie, they explain that. It has to do with her dying from Trigon being inside of her. And Trigon is always trying to get out and kill Robin, because he doesn't like Robin. And he's not being like a good dad and being like, oh, I'm going to protect my daughter. He just, like, he wants out so he can destroy the universe. You know? That was the big thing with that one Titans movie with Trigon. Justice League versus the Titans was a great film. Kind of. As a Titans movie. As a Justice League movie, no. Justice League aren't really in it. They're kind of like side characters. Mostly. But, Raven has a very good arc in the movie. It's complete. she's a very fun character in the film, so if you're a fan of Raven, I think you'll like her portrayal in this. She feels more like the Titans version of Raven from the old show than she does the New 52 version of Raven. And she and Robin also get together in the movie before everyone's erased with the next Flashpoint. Eventually, when they make their way to Apokolips, Raven and Damian and Superman wearing Lex's kryptonite armor and Constantine and one other hero, Etrigan. Yeah, I believe Etrigan. They make it on the planet, and they're greeted by Darkseid's new soldiers, which are the remaining Justice League members that he mutilated and turned into his slaves, led by Wonder Woman. Mira was in it, and she was transformed into a snake. Let's see. Martian Manhunter was turned into like a spider Martian creature. Hawkman was turned into like this demon kind of hawk thing. Let's see, who else was in it? Hawkman, Wonder Woman, John, Mira. Did I say Wonder Woman? I thought there was 5. Wonder Woman, Mira, Hawkman, Martian Manhunter. I think that's it. I think there's only 4. Starfire! Thank you. Starfire. Yeah, there's 5. Sorry. The battle does not go well. Etrigan gets killed by Wonder Woman, which makes sense because, I mean, Etrigan this whole time in the movie has been bored. Nobody's been a challenge to him. He fights Wonder Woman and he gets killed by his own sword, I believe. And for the first time in years, he rhymes because he hasn't been rhyming because he's been so depressed with how everything is. I don't remember how to play as Robin. Sorry, guys. But his death was... he seemed like he was pretty happy. I think that his death in this movie was handled better than his death in Justice League Dark. His Justice League Dark death felt kind of rushed and dumb. But here it makes sense that he dies and how he dies. So, I mean, I wasn't really annoyed by that. Like, out of all the character deaths, I feel like Etrigan's was handled the best. And that's saying something, you know? But when he dies, he rhymes. And Constantine is alone facing Wonder Woman. And this was a cool part. So, when Constantine is fighting Wonder Woman, he knows he can't beat her. But she let her guard down, so he uses magic, puts the lasso of truth around Wonder Woman, and uses the power of the lasso to break Darkseid's control over Cyborg Wonder Woman. It's a very cool scene. And you're just like, whoa! That was awesome. So Wonder Woman then takes on the remaining Justice League members, like that were her, you know, subordinates in Darkseid's army. And she gets her butt kicked. Like, Wonder Woman actually was going to die fighting, like, Mira and all these other characters, but it's a cool fight. I thought the fight choreography, animated-wise, was handled really well, and even as a cyborg, Wonder Woman did her best. And who knows, maybe if she was normal and wasn't, like, maimed and wounded from when she fought on Apokolips 2 years ago, maybe it would have been a different story. But, Martian Manhunter and Mira kick her butt. So as she's about to be killed, in the main throne room, there was a bunch of stuff that happened where Constantine ended up being killed somehow. Oh, right, I remember how Constantine died. So, Darkseid is not actually on Apokolips for most of the movie. Like I told you guys, he ended up on Oa because he was just, I don't know. That's why I thought Batman was kind of like still on the hero side, but he wasn't. Like, Darkseid goes to Oa to wipe them out. He's just going to wipe everybody out and become king of the universe. He doesn't care anymore, right? So for the beginning of the movie through the second arc, Darkseid is not on Apokolips anymore. So the plan was to have distractions happen for Batman so that an away team, Star Trek-wise, could end up on Apokolips and mess with the power core to blow up Apokolips. Now, unfortunately, Constantine and everybody learn that the Flash is the power source, so they're not going to kill the Flash. They save the Flash, and the Flash is very important later on, which Constantine knows the Flash is important. He doesn't know what the Flash is supposed to do, but he knows that the Flash needs to survive no matter what. So they save the Flash, and they end up almost succeeding, and then Darkseid comes back. Superman tries to fight Darkseid in his Lex suit, doesn't succeed, and Raven is dying. She's not doing well. So Constantine, noticing that Raven is losing control and Trigon is coming out, he releases Trigon from Raven. And he is going to sacrifice himself to make amends for what happened and fuse with Trigon and become like this magic being to kill Darkseid. Well, things don't go according to plan. Trigon basically is like, okay, I see what you're trying to do here. You want to trap me inside of you so we can kill Darkseid, but then you're going to use some type of magic ability and screw me. So Trigon is like, nah, fam. So he goes into Superman, combines with Superman's powers and Trigon's, and then he walks up to Constantine and he just like grabs him by the neck and snaps him like a twig. Constantine is now dead and out of the equation. So that leaves Superman Trigon fusion against Darkseid, and it is an awesome battle. Like, Trigon Superman is whipping Darkseid like it's nothing. Tri-Superman, or whatever you want to call him. Tri-Supes, yeah. He's just wrecking Darkseid. And then Lois, who's on Earth trying to protect the teleporter, calls up her husband and says, look, I know I promised that we would be together forever, but, you know, it's not going to happen. So I just want to tell you I love you, and I'm sorry. And before she can tell him anything, like a bunch of stuff, the teleporter blows up with the Suicide Squad, and I believe they took down one of the Harvesters. I don't remember. I've only seen the movie once. But Lois's team all dies. The Suicide Squad all dies. Lex's building is blown up. Everybody's gone on that part of Earth. It's kind of like a nuke goes off. So whatever part of Metropolis was left, Metropolis is now off the board. Completely. Gone. No more Metropolis. Superman gets the message, and he loses it. Kicks Trigon out of his body, and somehow regains his powers and becomes like the most OP Superman of all time and takes on Darkseid by himself. Which is crazy. Meanwhile, Robin and Batman are still fighting, I believe. And Batman says some pretty horrible things to Damian. And somehow Damian is able to break Bruce free from Darkseid's control, and Batman throws his son's sword into Darkseid's eye, which doesn't kill him or anything like that, but Darkseid responds by using the Omega Sanctum, and Robin gets in the way and dies in front of Batman. Raven sees this, and eventually Raven goes crazy and becomes White Raven. And I believe when she turns White Raven, she's able to defeat Trigon, or Constantine comes back to life, and that's how Trigon is defeated. I don't remember. It, like I said, I only saw it once. It happened so quick, and it felt like they were throwing so many plots together, like real fast, you know? The third arc is very rushed, because you've got the Batman versus Damian fight, you've got the Swamp Thing versus the Doom fight, you've got Wonder Woman versus the Cyborg Justice League, you've got Cyborg doing his thing, you've got Barry doing his thing, and then Raven becomes White Raven, and is able to... She doesn't banish her father, which is weird. So anyway, when Constantine comes back to life, somehow, they don't really explain it, something to do with Zatanna, or something in Purgatory, I don't know. I didn't really understand it, and I was like, I'm not really going to watch this movie a second time, to be honest. I mean, Friends of mine have watched the movie over and over again, but it's just a one-time viewing for me. It's better than most of the New 52 films, but I don't think it deserves a repeat viewing. It's kind of a mess, you know? But there's some pretty confusing parts to the film. So anyway, Raven and Cyborg are concocting this plan to get everybody off Apocalypse, because Cyborg, having been freed by Constantine, who's alive again, basically... Am I losing? Who am I? Am I Robin or Cyborg? Oh, I'm Robin. No, I'm not losing. Cyborg, Raven, and Batman have this plan about sending Darkseid to an uninhabitable space and time or universe or something. I don't know. It'll probably come back to haunt whatever people fight Darkseid again in a future movie or something like that, because Darkseid is spared from this universe that Barry erases. He's gone. That's thanks to Cyborg's sacrifice, but Superman originally was going to stay behind because Lois was gone, Metropolis is gone, he has nobody left. So Superman was going to sacrifice himself. Raven says that's not going to work because Superman's kind of become like a dad for her. So she convinces her father, using her White Raven powers, to fight Darkseid so that they can escape the planet before Apocalypse is destroyed and sent to another dimension. And the ending is a little campy in that regard because Trigon kind of becomes like the Teen Titans Go Trigon. You know, he willingly sacrifices himself for Raven so that the remaining Justice Leaguers can get off Apocalypse. To me, that doesn't seem like something Trigon would do no matter what. It's not like she had like a binding spell or anything. She just asked her father for a favor or something. It didn't make any sense. Like, it would have been one thing if Raven used like her White Raven powers to control her father, to force him to do this. But it's kind of like she just asks him and he does it. And I was kind of rolling my eyes at that part. I was just kind of like, okay, that's dumb. That's not what White Raven would do, right? White Raven is actually stronger than Trigon, you know? She doesn't say, Daddy, pretty please, stay here and, you know, prevent Darkseid from following us to Earth. That was dumb. A sweet moment in the movie is when Raven uses her White Raven powers to bring Damian back to life. That was kind of cool. Costume and all, because he basically turned into... Do you guys remember when Darkseid fried Batman's corpse and Nightwing became Batman? And Batman was like this charred, like, gross body? That's what happens to Robin when he got hit by Darkseid's beams. So they're pulling from so many different stories for this movie, so it jumps all over the place. It has a lot of Easter eggs. So Robin was that, like, burned-up corpse thing that Batman originally was. So that was interesting. The end of the movie... the end of the movie is kind of dumb. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, Barry this whole time has promised Iris that he would never run back in time ever again. He would never do anything, right? Constantine, when everybody is back on the remains of Titan's Tower, like they're all teleported back to where Titan's Tower is because Metropolis is gone, which doesn't make any sense because if they were going to be teleported back to where they last were, it would have been in the nuked area of Metropolis, and when they came back to Metropolis, they'd all be dead. So somehow, either Cyborg teleports them, or plot armor, they're alive, and they're at Titan's Tower in California. They don't tell you. But the last scene takes place at a destroyed Titan's Tower. Barry's moping, everybody's moping, and Superman is like, you know what? Maybe things aren't as bad. And Batman's like, I hate to tell you this, Chief, but the planet, it's gonna die. Maybe there's something we can do, but the planet is slowly dying now because the harvesters have killed the planet. We failed. Everybody's toast. Maybe we have a year or two before either we'll freeze to death if the Earth, like, moves off its axis just a little bit, or we'll burn to death if the Earth moves off its axis another way. And remember, the Earth is always rotating. So Darkseid has screwed people even in death. Like, they're done. Earth is finished. Although Superman thinks that he can use, like, his Christopher Reeve Superman powers and maybe reset something. But they don't get to do that because Constantine is like, hey, Barry, both our wives are dead, right? And Barry's like, yeah. He says, well, you can fix that, mate. I know all about the Flashpoint. And Barry's like, but you don't understand what Flashpoint's going to do. And he's like, doesn't matter. He says, look, if you do this, things are going to be bad, sure. But some things might be better. Some things may not be how they were, but all in all, it could be a lot worse than this. And Barry's kind of like, well, I suppose. I mean, the Earth's going to die anyway. We failed. So the end of the movie is Nightwing is with Cyborg Starfire, and he looks at peace for the first time in the movie. He's not like, like Tasmanian Devil, because that's basically what he is in the movie. You know? He looks calm. Raven and Robin have a sweet little kissing moment where everybody looks on like, or like, aw, you know? Aw, isn't that nice? Teen love over the bodies of their friends. Just make-out session. The Trinity is still around. Batman is looking on with hope, and he's happy for his son. And Barry's just like, I know I'm going to regret this, but I'm going to do it. And then Barry runs back, and we have Flashpoint 2, which is going to be the rebirth of the DC universe. Probably going to be DC Rebirth stories, which way better than the New 52, my personal opinion. Maybe we'll get Tim Drake and Jason Todd and things like that, but that's the end of the movie. That's what happens. They combined so many different crises into one movie and killed everybody. That's it. And there are people saying, I kid you not, they're like, this is the best DC animated movie ever. And I'm just like, what? What are you talking about? This is not the best DC movie. Best DC animated movie? What are you smoking, fam? What? Bruh. No. Is it better than what we got in some of the other movies? Yeah. Is it that good? No. It basically pees all over the characters. Like, it just has characters in there for shock value. Characters that didn't get any character development just randomly show up in this movie. I am honestly surprised that Green Arrow and Black Canary did not show up in this movie dead. Like, it doesn't care. Hi, Zelda. You know, I think the reason why Black Canary and Green Arrow did not show up in this movie among the dead is because maybe they originally planned to have more characters, but it had to do with, like, animation budget or something. I don't know. But also, Oliver Queen just died in the Arrowverse, so they were probably like, yeah, I don't think that would be good to kill Ollie again. So we're not going to have, I mean, most of the Justice League. And like I told you guys, there's really not that many Justice League members in this New 52 universe anyway. Maybe 20. Maybe. This is not like, it's not like Justice League Unlimited where they have hundreds of League members. And those guys did better against Darkseid than these guys. These guys, either they were horribly nerfed or Darkseid was like God tier. Because he just wrecks everybody. Even Aquaman, who they made look like super strong in this universe, he dies in like 2 seconds, like it's nothing. Doomsdayed to death. Hawkman, it would make sense that he dies because Hawkman doesn't really have super strength. He's just Hawkman. But like some of these characters that are like really strong, you're like, bruh, why? That doesn't make any sense. You made Aquaman look so strong in Throne of Atlantis, and he's just ripped apart like it's nothing. It's like, are you kidding me? Throne of Atlantis, great movie. This movie, not as good as Throne of Atlantis. Not as good as Flashpoint. Way better than Batman Bad Blood, but that's not saying much. Batman Bad Blood sucks. Justice League Dark is a pretty good movie. It's okay. Might even be better than this movie. If you really, really, really like R-rated gory movies, maybe you can find some things you like about this movie. But as like a hardcore DC fan, the only things I enjoyed was seeing Batwoman like literally having her head punched in by a Doomsday person. That was the most satisfying part of the movie for me. And maybe seeing some characters that I didn't like, you know, die. The story, it was pretty good, but now that I'm explaining it to you, it was horribly rushed. What they should have done is they needed to make a movie about how Batman destroys the Earth. They just talk about it like so nonchalant. Batman did horrible things as Darkseid's envoy for 2 years to the Earth. That would have been cool to see. And then lead into the Justice League War movie. Go into the flashback. You could have started the movie. This should have been a two-parter. You could have started the movie with, like, Batman as normal, you know, like, seeing his shadow appear over some criminal, and then all of a sudden the criminal's face is melted off, and Batman's sitting there in the Mobius chair. And then you've got, like, the Earth trying to stop him, and they can't. And Superman can't stop him. Nobody can stop him. And then you find out in the middle of the movie or something that there was this horrible war. Like, you don't know why Batman's doing this. You just know that it's Earth and everything's all screwed up. And then that movie would lead into this movie. It would make more sense. They have so many hanging plots that they never get resolved. It's just, it's all over the place. You know? And I don't know. It's better than Bad Blood. It's better than probably Justice League versus Titans. It's better than most of the movies, but I think I like the Superman Doomsday two-parter better than this movie. Like, I'd probably give this movie a 7, maybe, and that's with my first watch of it. It loses points for the Nightwing death and the fact that they didn't even get the actor back. They just kind of used recorded sound things that he had from other movies and grunts and stuff like that. I mean, I literally think he just says, Titans go, or Damian just talks over everything. I don't remember. But nobody really has any lines. Wonder Woman has some lines. Batman has a lot of lines. I liked Evil Batman. Evil Batman by Jason was actually good, because he wasn't trying to act like Kevin Conroy or even Diedrich Bader. Jason for the first time played Batman pretty well. Way better than Hush. This movie's better than Hush. Hush was dumpster fire. I would watch this movie over Hush, yes. I'd watch it over Batman Bad Blood. My favorite movies in this DC continuity is Flashpoint, Throne of Atlantis, probably Batman and Robin, or not Batman and Robin. Son of Batman was pretty good. It was okay. Teen Titans Judas Contract, really good. Probably one of the best ones, actually. Never got around to doing a review of that because I had so many copyright claim things when I tried to post the review years ago. Judas Contract was handled very well. Deathstroke was awesome as a villain in that movie. Nightwing was awesome as a leader. And Damian was watchable. In fact, Damian got a lot of character growth in that movie too, so that was good. Although I feel like Judas Contract basically was copied by the live-action Titan show, because that whole thing where Deathstroke captured Damian was almost played out exactly the same way when Deathstroke captured Jason Todd in the live-action show. The beats are so similar that it's kind of like, I see where they got that idea. You know what I mean? So, I mean, like most of the samey movies outside of the Superman films, which the Superman Doomsday, like, two-parter is really good. Like, I really liked it. Even though it felt like Superman was with Wonder Woman most of the time, the romance was sweet with Lois and Clark. It was really well done. It was sad to see the type of ending that they had for them in this movie, but they were basically wiping the board. They were going to kill everybody anyway, so I don't know. But now I can open up the floor to you guys if you got some questions. We can talk a little bit. But that pretty much is it. That's the whole thing. I would give it like a 7, more or less. Let me open up my phone here. Nope, that's not me. That's somebody else. Hang on, I'm old. There we go. Oh, we got about 300 people watching this. That's sad. What's the next DC movie and story you think would be best after this movie? I mean, you could probably do DC Rebirth. You could do The Button. I mean, they're probably going to do this DC Rebirth stuff, honestly. That would make the most sense. I bet you they're going to bring Dr. Manhattan into it. They're going to do... they're probably going to bring Jason Todd in, because one of the biggest complaints that they've gotten since 2011, no Jason Todd.
Neither do I.
Like, people have been ticked at the lack of Tim Drake and Jason Todd. And we know for a fact that Dan Didio and one other guy who's no longer at DC did not like Jason Todd or Tim Drake. So fans want Jason Todd and Tim Drake. And Jason Todd and Tim Drake have a very big role in DC Rebirth. You can't do a DC Rebirth with Dick and Damian in those leads. It doesn't work. It doesn't mix with their characters. You know? Hi, sweetheart. Am I being too loud? Oh, you were watching my synopsis of the mediocre movie? Everybody dies. No, I'm not watching the movie 5 more times. It doesn't, no, even then, I have a pretty good memory, and I know that they just talk about Batman having wiped out the Earth for 2 years. They don't go into detail. They don't tell you what Constantine's been doing. They don't tell you anything. It just kind of starts up with like Lex being the comedic aspect of the movie and talking with Batman as second in command, and then you get to the Resistance, and then you get to Constantine. I would say more than half of the movie is told from Constantine's point of view. It's not even Superman and Raven. They all kind of feel like characters that are just in Constantine's like world. And even when Constantine is dead, he still feels like the main character of the movie. You know?
We're asking you if you're glad that the new 52 is over.
I'm glad that the new 52 is over. I'm happy. That's why I watched the movie. Even though I was told everyone dies, and I like some of the characters, like I love Aquaman and Mira in this universe. I like Luke Fox. I like Batman. I like the Superman. I can't believe I said that, but I liked after Superman Doomsday Part 1 and 2. Superman acted like pre-52 Superman. Like he wasn't this stuck up, like annoying teenager that they had him be, like from the new 52. He was somebody that had become Superman, so I liked him. I mean, it's better than most of the stuff that DC has put out, but it's still not a... I wouldn't call it an amazing movie. It's Flashpoint 2. No, it's not. I wouldn't watch it. I would not watch it again. I'm not going to watch it again. I mean, yeah. Oh, he's not going to be fighting. I know that he's going to kill Darkseid. Like, when he was combined with Superman, he was super OP. But even before, like, when Superman is fighting Darkseid, and basically Trigon's like, can I step in? And he uses his laser beams to beat up Darkseid. Darkseid is just like a little gnat to Trigon. Trigon's going to have no problem beating Darkseid. The fact that both of these characters... I don't think it's the last you're going to see of this version of Darkseid and Trigon. I believe they're going to show up in the new universe, and Barry is going to show up in the new universe. So you're going to have the same Barry Allen. You're going to have probably the same Darkseid and Trigon eventually make it to whatever new Earth is created, probably the DC Rebirth Earth. But everybody else is going to be dead and gone. You'll have a new Batman actor. You'll have new everybody. Barry will be the same. Everybody else is going to be different.
And you're not gonna go over like people are like, you didn't say every tiny detail of the movie.
I didn't go over some of the big spoilers, like who the leak is that was helping Lois Lane, because I want that's a great surprise for people. Because like I said, I thought it was going to be Batman, and it was a character that I never saw coming. So that was cool for me. So I'm not going to tell you who that is, and I don't want you guys to share who that is, because that actually makes watching the movie the first time kind of interesting, because you see a character get redeemed who everybody hates, and you're kind of like, oh, okay, wow, that was interesting. Not worth watching twice. Good for like a rental. I would rent it off Amazon. Amber wouldn't see the movie because Amber hates gore. Like, even though she doesn't like a lot of these characters, I doubt she wants to see them like blown up, ripped in half. Darkseid is like god tier. Like, Darkseid is unbeatable. Like, to see him kill as many Green Lanterns as he does in like a few seconds, and these are supposed to be some of the most powerful Green Lanterns that ever were. Kilowog, the Guardians. I mean, technically, he doesn't even kill Hal Jordan. Hal Jordan died fighting... It took, I want to say, like 9 Doomsday creatures to kill Hal Jordan. That's how powerful Hal Jordan was in this universe. But those Doomsday things, they were pretty messed up. Like, I still feel like in the movie, if Darkseid wasn't watching Cyborg, then the things that would have attacked the Justice League would not have been the Superman thing, because, you know, those clones didn't exist yet. Like, Darkseid had time to prep when they were booming over to where he was.
Okay, question from Hollywood Purgatory says, are they setting the whole animated universe?
Yeah, it's a complete reset. Barry goes back in time, and you're going to have a DC Rebirth. And the rumor is that you'll have characters like Jason Todd and Tim Drake, because they're integral to DC Rebirth. Jason Todd has like several arcs that are very important that work well with the Batman stories. Tim Drake had a very important storyline that connected to the Button, that connected to Batman INC, that even connected to him becoming crazy and trying to kill Batwoman. There's a lot of Tim Drake and Jason Todd love in DC Rebirth. There's a lot of Nightwing love in DC Rebirth. Why would Amber and I split up? We're celebrating 14 years of marriage like next month, guys. We've been together for 16 years. Wait, have we been 16 years? What year are we getting engaged? 03 or 04?
Ready to quit yet?
That's weird. Amber and I aren't divorced. No, Amber's my best friend. Amber and I, we have like, I don't know, I guess we're one of the longest running YouTube couples.
Batman wins.
Am I traumatized by the film? No. I did rewatch Batwoman die and Hawkman, because I don't like Hawkman or Batwoman. Hawkman's death was kind of funny. Although he didn't die, he came back as a cyborg, but like literally these doomsday creatures like rip off his wings and they're shown like beating him. Batwoman, like, you can actually rewind her death several times. I skipped over Batgirl's death because I knew it was coming, because a friend told me like she gets like jumped by parademons and then like she gets torn limb from limb. So I didn't want to see her head and arms go flying. So I didn't watch Batgirl die. I couldn't. Batgirl should have never been there because she couldn't do anything. Luke Fox had a better... he took out some before he died. Luke Fox has kind of like a very humane death. He's flying around fighting the Paradooms, and they compromise his suit and it blows up. So I mean, it's not gory. It's Batwoman's death is gory. Batgirl's death is gory. Superboy's death is pretty humane. Aquaman's death is very gory. Most of the Titans have horrible deaths. Just disturbing. It looks like a Mortal Kombat game when you see Titan's Tower and the Titans lying dead. Nightwing has a fatality happen to him. There are a lot of fatalities. It's like, it feels like the people that worked on Mortal Kombat, like the Legend of Scorpion or whatever, Revenge of Scorpion, worked on this movie, because it is gory. The hero deaths, the permadeaths are terrible. If you're squeamish, don't watch this movie, because there's no way... Okay, fine. When I started watching the movie, I thought that all the deaths and stuff happened, and I have a weak stomach. I'm being completely honest, okay? I am a person that I don't like gore at all. It makes me queasy. So I told a friend of mine, and I wasn't reading his text. I said, I skipped ahead to 17 minutes where they're talking about, you know, the 2-year time skip. And my friend texted me back in the middle of the movie. He was like, no, Luke, you don't understand. Bro, the deaths happen in flashbacks. The first 10 minutes of the movie is just story, and it's very tame. So I saw the deaths happen and people being ripped in half as it was going, and I almost threw up a couple times. I was like, man, because I skipped ahead thinking all that stuff happened in the beginning, and then the rest of the movie was going to take place, like, you know, later or before the movie. So I eventually went back and I watched like the first 17 minutes of the movie after I finished the movie. But the only death that I skipped was Babs, because I couldn't watch it happen, because I love Babs. And she was horribly used in the movie. She shouldn't have even been there. She wasn't even really trained. She's only appeared in Batman Hush, and that was it. And it feels like they just threw her in here because they were like, well, we're just killing all the characters. So every character that has appeared in this, they die. Disagreeing about Raven dying? Or... okay, so at the end of the movie, the third arc, Constantine drags Trigon out of Raven. Originally, Raven can't live without the crystal on her forehead. The crystal becomes fused with her life force in the Judas contract, I think? Or wait, no. No. Justice League versus the Titans is when she gets the jewel on her forehead. Originally, she didn't need it, but her life force gets tied to Trigon, just like in the comics. Like the Marv Wolfman, George Perez thing. They handled that pretty well, although at times they didn't... It was a sit-down with Robin and Raven in the League of Shadows, where Robin's like, what's going on with you? And she's like, I didn't want to go with you because I'm dying. And he's just like, oh. And he tells her he loves her and stuff like that. But she doesn't tell him that she loves him until he dies, like in the third arc. But when she became White Raven, she purified her body, and she didn't really die. She might have been dying after Constantine ripped the jewel off. I don't know. But it looks like she gets a little bit better after Constantine somehow successfully operates and removes her crystal from her head. Because it was supposed to kill her. It would kill her and Trigon, actually, to be, like, disconnected like that. Jason is my favorite Batman voice actor? No, he's not. I don't like the guy. He did a better job in this movie than he has. Kevin Conroy is my favorite voice of Batman. My second favorite is Troy Baker, and then we'll go Dietrich Bader, maybe. And, no, wait, nope, I take it back. Nope, I take it back. Okay. My favorite Batman voice actors are as follows: Kevin Conroy, Troy Baker, Roger Craig Smith, Dietrich Bader. Wait, no. Hang on, let me do that again. Okay, Conroy, Baker, Roger Craig Smith, Bruce Greenwood, Dietrich Bader. I kind of like the RoboCop guy for The Dark Knight Returns. And then, at the very bottom of the list, would be Jason.
Alright, you have a lot of weird questions.
He was very bottom of the list. Jason was not a good Batman voice. He had Hollywood star power. That's why he fit.
You shouldn't have killed
And he was arrogant. I didn't like him.
It's not what she would have wanted.
Bruce Greenwood would be number 4. Conroy 1, Baker 2, Roger Craig Smith 3, Greenwood 4, and Batter 5.
The regime's over.
There are 2 dead kid flashes in the movie. You're not going to get an explanation. They just popped them in the movie. They never had any speaking role as far as I know. They just threw them in there to kill him.
I'm sorry, Bruce. I'm not dead yet.
What is your favorite
My favorite Superman voice actors. Let's see if I can get them right. Tim Daly, George Newbern. I don't really. Oh wow, this is hard. I only know those 2 guys. They're always Superman. They're always, even this game has Tim Daly. No, George. Is it George or Tim in this one?
Who's the best Jon Stewart voice, Luke?
Best Jon Stewart voice is
My question.
the OG.
Phil Lamar.
Phil Lamar. That's right.
Never.
Jerry O'Connell did Superman? No, Jerry O'Connell was Batman in New Frontier. No. Well, there was going to be gore. They were going to kill everybody. I mean, you can't make a PG-13 if the entire movie is about killing everybody that you've ever met in this 10-year universe. Almost 10 year. Yeah, it was almost 10 years because it started in 2011. So if they would have released this movie next year, then that would have been the 10-year anniversary of that universe. You got to know these characters after 9 years, and they killed them all.
You can't win this. Don't bet on it. Yeah, the sales and stuff for these movies have been terrible. Batman Hush was a failure. The Superman movies were successful, and the Justice League Dark movie was successful. Most of the Batman movies sold well. The Wonder Woman movie bombed. Nobody liked the Wonder Woman movie that came out recently. It wasn't good. They tried to remake the amazing Wonder Woman movie from 2009, and they knew 52 stank it, and it just sucked. And most of the movies that they've had, there's just been so many hits and misses. So yeah, they pulled the plug eventually. Finally. I still say Batman Hush should have been like a standalone movie, and Conroy should have done it, and it should have actually been Hush and not New 52 crap, but whatever. The movie was watchable, but I'll never watch it again. It's tolerable, but it's stupid. New 52 has been over in the comics since 2012. No, wait, 2015. What? DC Rebirth. The best thing about the New 52 was the Court of Owls and DC Rebirth. And the return of... No, not the return of Tim Drake. They did Tim Drake dirty. DC Rebirth made Tim Drake awesome again. They're saying DC Rebirth. They have a lot of storylines that they can do for DC Rebirth. They can milk like another... probably 10 years of movie continuity if they do it right. Because DC Rebirth has had a lot of really cool stories. So... I already said this, but I can do it again. Amber, you can help me out here. So, my favorite movies from the DC, or I wouldn't say favorite, but movies that were handled well,
Not just watchable, like, they're good. Flashpoint is technically... It's both a DC previous continuity, and it is a DC New 52 movie. I mean, it kind of, because the New 52 starts at the end of the movie. So, I mean, it's a little bit of gray area. I want to include it in the New 52 films, but it's kind of hard because both Batman and the Flash are voiced by both Kevin Conroy and the guy who played Flash at the beginning of the movie. Whereas I believe in Justice League War, that's Jason and also the new Flash voice actor's first movie. So they're different actors in the New 52 universe. It's a really great movie. I want to include it in the New 52 films, but I don't think I can because it's not part of the main ensemble cast. So...
Batman.
Blackwing says, I was actually planning on binge-watching all the DC and MU movies, but then I realized I would have to go through Bad
Fighters
Blood.
approaching.
Yeah, you'd have to watch Batman Bad Blood. Good luck with that. Oh yeah. So anyway, let's exclude Flashpoint then. Okay, so Batman, Son of Batman is pretty good. Throne of Atlantis, Justice League War, Batman and Son is okay. Judas Contract, and Superman, Death and Return of Superman. Very good. Everything else, garbage. Oh wait, nope. Justice League Dark, the first one is good. DC. Are you talking about the current DC that's not DC 5G? It's not DC Rebirth anymore? Yeah, DC Rebirth lasted from 2015 until technically 2018. 2019.
Do you think that from Sadiq,
It's time to surrender, wretch.
do you think that Damian and Raven should be together?
Your compliance is mandatory.
I think they're gonna put Damian and Raven together in future movies. I think most of the principal cast that you've seen in this, they're gonna have them appear in the new movies, but it'll be different actors playing them. Beast Boy, yeah, everybody will be back. I mean,
I'm saying Beast Boy will be Raven.
Oh right, Beast Boy is with I don't know. I mean, maybe they killed Beast Boy so they could. I don't know. That's the Damian and in this universe, the Damian and Raven thing worked, but I don't know.
Okay.
Constantine will be back though.
Somebody CPJK wrote, yeah, and then
Nightwing is pretty messed up right now. That's all I can say. Like, it's crazy what's going on with Nightwing. Oh yes! Batwoman dies, and you can tell that she is dead. That is a rewind moment if you don't like Batwoman. You can tell.
Everybody died, though.
Everybody died, but some people died gruesomely. That you know they're not coming back.
But Nightwing had the worst of it if you said he
Think I haven't planned.
Yeah, Nightwing, the writers hate Nightwing, so Nightwing died and then he's brought back as a zombie.
Begin.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a question from Brian. Wait, I don't know what you know about this movie, man. I don't understand. Theory and Flashpoint, even by the end, talks about him, so why does he act like they never met? He knows Flashpoint happened because this movie, so what happened?
Why did Batman and the Flash not really get along in this universe? I don't know, because they were best friends in the previous one. It feels like Constantine kind of took over Batman's role. I think the reason why the Flash doesn't like Batman in this universe
is because what Batman did to the Flash 2 years ago in this movie, essentially putting him to the cosmic treadmill and installing like this metal tube in the back of Barry's head. I don't think, even though he probably knows that Batman was under the control of Darkseid, he's not too friendly with Batman once he's freed. You know, I mean, they're not going to have a heart-to-heart moment at the end of the movie. Constantine fills that, like, kind of last little thing that Barry needs to run back and fix everything, because Batman, none of the heroes like Batman anymore.
I don't understand this question. As to live mobs?
I don't know.
I don't understand the question, like, somebody...
I honestly believe one of the movies that we're going to get based on the popularity of the franchise is you're going to get Injustice as, like, a animated series. I think that is the next big thing that DC is going to be pushing, because they're going to want to milk this so that they can announce Injustice 3. Yeah, seeing Starfire like ripped in half, it was sad, but she didn't die, which I was kind of amazed, because like out of all the dead Titans, like it really looked like Starfire was dead, and then to see her come back later in the movie as like this mutant cyborg thing, when she wasn't. See, this is a problem I have. Most of the people that died on Apokolips or were dying and turned into Darkseid's servants, that happened on Apokolips. Starfire was already dead on Earth. It doesn't make any sense. If she was on the Envoy team that was attacking, it would make sense why she comes back in the movie, but the only reason they brought her back is because she's a popular character. But pretty much all the Titans except for Raven and Robin were supposed to die. Everybody was supposed to die. So it doesn't make sense that they would save Starfire when she was dead. She'd already bled out. She was ripped in half. The only Titans that were left alive were Robin and Raven and Nightwing fighting the Paradooms. And then Nightwing died. Robin was kicked into the ocean, and Raven was like... I don't know what happened to Raven. I guess Raven got captured? I don't know. They don't really explain how Raven gets away. Like I said, there's so many hanging plots, and this movie was incredibly rushed. It should have been a two-parter. Dr. Fate was never in this universe. Nope. Dr. Fate was... Wait, was he? Yes, he... I take it back. Dr. Fate was in this movie. Wait, was he? Yes. Yes, he was. Dr. Fate was a stripper in this universe. He was a male stripper, yes. He was in the Harley Quinn Suicide Squad movie. I don't remember if he died, though. Right? Help me out, Blackwing. Did he die? Did he survive, or what? Because he's not in this movie.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, he did die. Okay, so that explains why he wasn't around. He's already dead.
Alright. Blackwing says he's predicting
a lot of people are saying that Injustice is going to happen because they're probably going to announce the next Injustice game next year or the year after. And if they can build up... I really believe that they used Mortal Kombat, the animated movie, as kind of like a experiment to see how people liked that style of animation and that movie. And either they're going to make a Mortal Kombat series of films, or they're going to make an Injustice movie. Like an animated film. Yeah, I think he died. Yeah, I remember. He was dead. If Dr. Fate was alive, then probably the heroes would have escaped. If Constantine hadn't run away in the movie, maybe the heroes would have had... No, he gets killed. The helmet of Naboo goes somewhere else. I remember the helmet of Naboo leaving in that movie now. Yeah.
I don't know. A lot of people are talking about how the parademons look and how the
Suicide Squad was blown up. Although most of them were killed by parademons or Lex Luthor's forces. Honey, don't do that. I mean, most of these are going to be the same questions, so that's fine. I did see Suicide. I've seen all the movies, guys. I've seen the mediocre ones, and I've seen the really, really bad ones. You know what? It would have been really cool if Constantine's trump card was Dr. Fate's helmet, but they didn't do that. This is why I said this movie was incredibly rushed. The reason why they made this movie is they wanted to clean the board for the more successful DC Rebirth and Injustice films. That's what this movie was about. This movie was, we're going to take the Zack Snyder idea of killing some of the Justice League members fighting Darkseid, which is what Justice League Part 2 was supposed to be, and Part 1, and we're going to make it a gritty R-rated movie. We're going to kill all the characters, and we're going to make it a clear ending and set up another flashpoint that's going to make either the Button storyline from DC Rebirth, the OMC storyline from DC Rebirth, the Superman and Son story from DC Rebirth, or maybe this... Okay, here's another thing this could be. This Barry running back in time might hit a snafu. What if him running back in time actually sets up Convergence, which has a multiverse movie first, before DC Rebirth happens? Because remember, there was a stepping stone before DC Rebirth, and that was Convergence. Convergence played a role in creating DC Rebirth. You can't really... You can essentially have Barry create another Flashpoint, but it would be more interesting if he runs back in time and somehow ends up setting off Convergence. That would be interesting to see, but I don't think they would ever be able to do a movie on that. There'd be way too many characters. Like, one thing I've noticed with this DC film, they didn't handle the crossover very well because there was only like 8 or 9 principal actors and everybody else grunted. So they had the Titans, they had Justice League Dark, they had Justice League members, but only a few of them had lines. It was kind of like multiple Johnny Cages in Mortal Kombat Annihilation, where he had 1 or 2 lines and then he was dead. So that's pretty much what happened with every Justice Leaguer in this movie. They were Johnny Caged, hard. That's the best way to say it. So DC did not handle... all these characters very well, except to kill them, and to kill them quick.
Puglord says Lady Shiva had the most dumb death.
Yeah, Lady Shiva got shot in the head. Like it was just like, oh, she's human, so we're just gonna kill her like that. That was it.
Somebody says that next DC movie is Superman Man of Tomorrow.
Oh, Superman Man of Tomorrow is the next movie. That could lead into Convergence because Superman set off Convergence. Superman was the big tie to Convergence. I mean, they're probably not going to do Convergence, in all honesty. It would be great. It'd be interesting, but it's not going to happen. I would love it.
Fighters approaching the Joker's playground.
Tied into the Black Adam movies with,
Yeah, Dr. Fate is going to appear in live action, but I'm just saying that if they were really writing this well, in the final battle against Darkseid or invading Darkseid, like, Constantine could have called on the power of fate, and he didn't. So it would have been cool to see, but no, they weren't, you know, the people who did this, I mean, I don't like getting into the whole NPC thing, but there are a lot of crazy blue and red, green and whatever haired people that work at DC Animation now. And some of them were writing the story for this and working on stuff and including certain things, and just the movie, parts of it were handled really good, but some of it was just handled really poorly. So, I mean, it continues that curse of the New 52 films. You know what I mean? But I will say this. It is a better movie than most of the New 52 films. This is watchable the first time through, and you will like it. If you continue to watch it, you're going to be like, bruh. That's what you'll be like. You'll be like, nah, I didn't really like this part now. It was okay the first time, but now seeing it, it's kind of like, nah, no. But the first time you watch it, you're going to love it. You're going to like a lot of it. You're going to be like, whoa, I didn't think DC had the guts to do something like this. You'll like that stuff. But the more you pick apart this movie, you're going to find a lot of holes in it. More holes than you should find.
Everyone has a weakness.
I believe in myself, and that's enough.
You're too reckless.
Begin.
Because the same people that wrote Flashpoint did not write Justice League War. It's the reason why... Okay, Justice League War had some good story beats, right, people? It was a pretty entertaining movie. It was interesting, introducing us to new actors. There were some parts of the movie that were kind of like lame and dumb, whatever. But, you know, it had some good story beats. Throne of Atlantis, far superior. Far superior Justice League movie. Probably the best Justice League movie in the New 52 films. The same person that wrote Justice League War did not adapt or write Throne of Atlantis. Different person. The people who did the Court of Owls movie, not the same story team that did Justice League War or Throne of Atlantis. This is a problem. The problem with this continuity of films is they did not have the same writer working on the movies. So that's why most of the movies are hit or miss. Whereas the original continuity films of the DC animated universe, the ones that people still rave to this day, Under the Red Hood, Batman and Superman, Public Enemies, Batman and Superman Apocalypse, you know, these films all had like the same team working on them. You know, it wasn't necessarily the same like writer every time, but you had like pretty much the same producers, you had the same executive people, you had the same like animation people. The New 52 people were almost every other movie, it was new people. It didn't work. It didn't have that same flow. Even though all the movies didn't feel like they were connected in the pre-52 films, they were better executed. They were more entertaining. Almost any of those films I mentioned, like the Red Hood movie, or, you know, the Wonder Woman movie, or anything, they were like standalone masterpieces. There's no masterpiece in the New 52 films. Maybe Throne of Atlantis is close, but everything else is just... It's not even comparable to the old movies. They're not that good. They're okay. They're great rentals, but they cannot stand the legacy of these other movies. They just can't. And it's not nostalgia glasses. It's just they're not that good. Their story is a mess. Their characterization is all over the place, like every other scene. And the continuity is just...
They have a lot of questions about Teen Titans, so do you think we will get from Wild Wolf? Do you think we will get an OG Teen Titans movie?
Step aside, old man.
I'm the hero, Gotham.
Okay, if I'm a betting man, DC Rebirth brought back the Titans, and it had a really cool story about the Titans coming back. It had a great story for Wally West. Most of the complaints that people have for the DC animated films that you hear at every convention that Dido got sick and tired of hearing is, where's Wally West? Where's Jason Todd? Where's Tim Drake? Where are all these characters that you've never added into the movies that we want to see? We want Nightwing Bloodhaven stories. We want Birds of Prey. We want this. We want that. We don't want this crap. And one of the key things that you'll probably see in this reboot universe is most likely Jason Todd. You're going to see more Batgirl. Depending on how well Batwoman does, you'll probably see more Batwoman, but probably not. She's probably still going to stay a side character because she just doesn't work. You're probably going to get like a Titans reboot with the DC Rebirth Titan storyline, which was excellent. It was a mystery. It was interesting. You'll probably get Wally West coming back, which people are going to be super pumped for because Wally did not return in Young Justice Season 3. So Wally is probably coming back. Let's see. You'll probably get, like, Cassie, who will probably go under the codename Orphan. She'll be in the Batman movies, most likely. Oracle will be back, probably, which we've never seen Oracle in the movies, I don't think. Just Batgirl. Don't believe we've ever seen Oracle. I'm not sure.
You'd be wise to give up.
These guns aren't for
The rumor is they're announcing Injustice 3.
Pass.
They're not announcing a Batman game. They're announcing Injustice 3 because they don't have enough time to build up hype for the Batman thing because of the pandemic. So they're going to announce the Batman game, but they're not going to have a release date. And it's going to be appearing in the Summerfest or something is what the rumors is. Which I don't know when that Summerfest is. Apparently I missed one. It was on. There's something that happened on Xbox, but nothing Warner Brothers related. Probably get some type of announcement for Batman and Injustice 3 and the Harry Potter game, like, I want to say probably like July or August, if I'm a betting man. Jon Stewart has the best death in the movie, bar none. It is the most hardcore, awesome death because you think that he's going to mop the floor with Darkseid because he is the last surviving Green Lantern, and with all the Green Lanterns dead, if Jon could have charged up his ring, he would have become a super lantern, like God tier. But right before he can finish saying, "In brightest day and blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight," he gets nuked by lava. And it's like, no! I wanted to see souped up Jon Stewart! Robbed! But his death is so hardcore, and then it's done. It's like, no! Because remember, in the comics, during Ethan Van Sciver and Jeff Johns' run, Hal Jordan became a god-tier lantern. Like, thanks to the Oa Lantern. So Jon Stewart was going to be that Green Lantern, and we didn't get it. Oh, that sucked so bad. But it was cool. Because for the first time in the movie, they're like, oh my gosh, something actually cool is going to happen with the heroes. And Jon's going to make it back. And it's like, nope, Jon's dead. But the way he died, it was just like so hardcore. Yeah, I mean, it's basically repeat questions. But yeah, I mean, getting to Arkham stuff, I don't believe, I could be wrong, but based on the pandemic still lasting and my state being closed until June something now, and Nintendo supposedly not doing a Nintendo Direct and this Summerfest thing going until August, there's no way that they can build up. You need at least 6 month hype for a WB Games Montreal Arkham game to be somewhat successful. There's no build-up. They didn't announce it in the spring. They can't work on it anymore because they're not at their offices. They'll have announcements, don't get me wrong. They'll probably announce the new Batman game, but it won't have a release date. They'll announce Injustice 3, but it won't have a release date. They're going to be pushing Mortal Kombat's DLC hard the rest of the year. They're going to push RoboCop. They're going to push the story stuff. They're going to push tons of stuff. I don't know how many more characters they're going to be, but I'm super pumped about RoboCop. You kidding me? You've got Spawn, Terminator, and RoboCop, and the Joker, and the Mortal Kombat characters in one game? That is sick. That's pretty awesome. All it's missing is Batman, or like, I don't know who I would put in the DLC. Like, maybe Goku or something. I don't know. Maybe bring back Jason or Freddy or something. I don't know what they're going to do. NetherRealms is awesome.
You're blind to what you
But even if they announce an Injustice 3 or they announce like a Batman game, I don't think it's going to come out this year. I don't even know if Avengers is coming out this year anymore. Nobody does anymore. They said September, but there hasn't been any good word on it at all. They were going to kill your favorite character, guys. They killed my favorite character, too. Technically, they killed him twice. They impaled him, and then they turned him into a zombie. Nightwing is done dirty in the movie. Nope. Any character that has appeared in costume was killed in this movie. Like, as a cameo, they were all killed. It's not a movie where it's like, oh, this is going to be like an Avengers-style thing where they go kick Darkseid's butt. Nope! Nope. The only reason they beat Darkseid is because of Cyborg's sacrifice. Nobody can beat him except maybe God-tier Superman. And it doesn't matter because Superman was going to die anyway because Earth was going to be destroyed. This is a movie where the heroes lose. And Barry has to reset and set up a DC Rebirth, which is a good thing because DC Rebirth has better stories than the New 52. It has a better Titans storyline. It has a better Batman stories. It has better Justice League stuff. It's got Super Sons, which could be a movie in itself. A Damian and Jonathan Kent movie. That would be awesome. There's more possibilities. The New 52 was exhausted and it was lame. That's why it was rebooted. Twice. You have to remember that they got rid of the New 52 with Convergence. Like, the books were doing so bad that New 52 went on hiatus for, like, what was it, 4 or 5 months? So they could run Convergence, and there were no New 52 characters in Convergence. Like, you had Earth 2, but they all got killed. Like, right in the first issue. They were the only ones. Everybody else was, like, from the 80s, 90s, 70s, 40s. For, like, at least 3 or 4 months, that was all the new DC Comics. And then they brought the New 52 back for, like, one crisis. And that went right into, DC Rebirth. So, you know, that's what happened. Nobody liked the New 52. Outside of the Batman stories, people hated it.
I'm the hero Gotham needs.
Although some people argue that the Injustice stories were part of DC New 52, but they weren't. They were their own established continuity based on a mirror world of the pre-52 characters. And that's why people loved it so much. Ow. Yeah, I could go on forever, but this stream's kind of winding down, guys and gals. Oh, I'm sure I have a lot of questions, but I'm gonna do, if people want, I can do like a regular review of this, but I don't think you want me to. I mean, my rants are kind of more interesting to watch, but I really, if I was gonna review this movie, I'd have to watch it again. I don't want to. I would like to have some decent memories of this film. If I watch it again, I'm probably going to end up tearing this movie apart like I did Batman Bad Blood, because the first time I watched Batman Bad Blood, it was okay. There were things I didn't like about it, yeah, but when I watched it a second time to put a review together, I just saw all the cracks in the armor. Like, it wasn't good. And I don't really want to do it to this movie because this movie has a clear ending. I feel like what they did with the characters made sense in a New 52 style. They did Nightwing dirty, yeah. They did the Titans dirty, oh yeah. But the dude who... He didn't like the Titans or Nightwing anyway. The producer of this movie hates them. He's a Damian fanboy. And he loves Raven. So the only characters that survived from the Titans were Damian and Raven. They're the only ones that have plot armor, but you can really argue that Damian didn't have plot armor because he died, but then he immediately comes back to life. So, I mean, that sounds like plot armor to me. They would listen to a review. Just know if I watch it again, it's going to be bad. Like, yeah, that was... I was just starting to like the Nightwing of this universe a little bit. He's not as cool as, like, the DC animated Nightwing, but I was starting to like him a little bit. Him and Starfire were cute together. And I know that Nightwing could probably look past Starfire's deformities at the end of the movie if they weren't all killed by Barry Allen. Because Nightwing, part of the reason why, somebody's theory that I liked I was talking to a Nightwing superfan. They said the reason why Nightwing's mind snapped when he was brought back to life, the reason why he was going all berserker when he died is he was trying to get revenge for Starfire's death, and he was also protecting his brother. So when his mind was returned in his soul, he was still kind of in that right before he died mindset. So there was nothing for him to live for anymore, so he's just a shell of his former self. I think that's a pretty good explanation that you're not going to get from the movie. And then when he's with Starfire at the end of the movie, you can see he's calm for the first time in the entire film. Like, he's not drooling, he's not screaming, he's still in a straitjacket, because probably he's could kill everybody there. But he looks at peace. Even though, you know, Starfire is RoboCop now, or Cyborg Starfire.
Yeah, I mean, the only other thing you have is, like, questions about people, like, if we're gonna play more Injustice, but we don't really play...
Guys, I mean, you saw how bad I am at Injustice now. I don't think... The only way that I'm going to play Injustice 2 again is if they announce Injustice 3 so I can start getting better at the game again, because this was a 2-hour travesty. Like, I wouldn't watch this video back just for the gameplay. It was horrible. I can't remember how to play this game at all. I couldn't remember any of the combos. All I did was just talk about the movie for 2 hours.
We used to play Injustice for fun. Like, as a lot. For people that don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, I did get decent at the game after time, but I don't remember it.
It's so old that nobody would really watch it.
You think I did great? I don't remember anything, but thanks. Just button mash like Amber. Nah. No, I'm good.
Hey!
But I hope you guys enjoyed, like, this kind of rant. I am working at fulfilling your guys' requests. Like, somebody paid last month for me to play Gotham City Racers. I'm still working on that. I'm having some issues with my emulation. So that's kind of why that's been delayed. But I will be playing some really bad Batman games and mediocre Batman games from the past again this month. And I will be starting Batman Blackgate. I have been dreading playing that. I'm not... Even talking about Batman Blackgate makes me have cold sweats because the game is horrible. But I did go through and pay for it using the last of my Wii points on my Wii U. So I kind of want to see that through, because, I mean, I wasted $20 on that, you know? And I want that to be, I want to give you guys a stream series of something Batman that's going to be fun, because I'm pretty sure that this June we're going to be playing, next month, the 5-year anniversary of Arkham Knight. We're going to be playing through Arkham Knight as a live stream series, which I don't understand. This channel is really weird, though, okay? My Let's Play channel, I can stream at 1080p with my XSplit. My XSplit will not let me stream at 1080p on my Nightwing 01 channel. This is at 720p.
There's a weird question that was asked in the chat. May I say it or not?
Yeah, go for it.
Alright, so there was kind of like a few people that were excited about a new Batman game, but there was other people that were like, we've had too many Batman games. Like,
There's already a Batman game in development. You can't do anything.
but
It-
don't you think we've had too many Batman games? Shouldn't we have other characters?
We haven't had a new, like, AAA Batman game since 2015.
Frankly, I'm sick of Batman also. Like, you would think that you'd have a different character.
Careful, sweetie.
What?
This is a Batman channel, woman!
Yeah?
Batman was our main source of income for years. He still is. He's the only reason this channel still gets paid.
But if you had, like, if you had a different character, Solomon Grundy,
Solomon Grundy the game, okay.
Green Lantern game,
Green Lantern,
Superman game,
Superman game. Okay,
I don't know, Justice League game.
we were gonna get a Superman game by Rocksteady, but Warner Brothers said no.
So we're not. So it's gonna be Batman again.
There's a Batman game in development. Everybody knows it. It's already been leaked. It's already happened. We know there was a game journalist that quit, who I have no respect for, because I don't like him as a person, as a journalist. He was always a creep. But his source was correct, and the Batman game was going to be announced at E3. I mean, everything was there. Eventually, he did finally get fired from Kotaku, but, you know, that information turned out to be true. Now, all the stuff surrounding the game, nobody really knows about, but it is real, and it was planned to be shown at E3, but E3 is canceled. So, 50-50, it's still going to show up in Jeff Keighley's Summer Fest month, whatever, along with the Harry Potter game and some other stuff. Like, I don't know, probably more Lego Star Wars or Lego DC something. I don't know. But, you know, that one dude, even though he's not really an honest journalist, he did a lot of sensationalism stuff. He was really good at finding leaked information. I'll give him that. I never liked the guy. I always thought he was a creep and a jerk face. Never liked him. But the Batman game, thanks to him and some other people and the leakers, it's true. You can't change that. It's going to release probably next year. It's not going to release this year because pandemic. There's no way.
You got a super chat from Chad. It says, thank you for bat-splaining as always.
Thank you for bat-splaining. Well, I have to save my voice, guys, because I have more videos to record tomorrow with my wifey, and also she needs to grind in Final Fantasy VII tonight, so I'm going to cut this stream. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you guys had a lot of fun. Hopefully I explained everything pretty well for watching the movie just one time through. And going over some personal opinion stuff, but also like giving you the lowdown of whether or not you want to watch the movie. As it stands right now, I'd give it a 7. I don't think it's as good as Superman Doomsday Part 1 and 2. It's not as good as Judas Contract. I mean, and it's not as good as Throne of Atlantis. Like, it's okay. It's better than what we've been getting the past, like, probably in the last 5 years. Outside of Judas Contract, it's a really good DC animated film. But if you compare it to the stuff that came before it in its new 52 line, no. And I hate people are comparing this to Flashpoint because it's not as good as Flashpoint. Flashpoint had a better story than this movie. This is a rush Flashpoint movie, but it's still watchable, and I would suggest you guys go rent it tonight. That's where I'll leave you guys. So have a wonderful night. I will see you guys with some streams next week. I don't know what yet, so just give me some time, especially to work out the bugs with the PlayStation emulator, because I know you guys want to see Batman and Robin, you want to see Gotham City Racers, and you want to see some other stuff, so just give me some time. Alright? Until we meet again, Gothamites, God bless, happy gaming, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you with something pretty soon. We'll try to do an Arkham Origins stream this Sunday, alright? But remember, if there's no picture announcing it, then there's no stream. There has to be a picture, okay? And I'll do my best. Take care, guys.